Hook introduction. As we grow older, the world around us often seems to move faster, with new challenges, changes, and unexpected situations that might test our patience. Have you ever wondered how some elderly individuals seem to be at peace, unaffected by the world's chaos, while others seem to struggle with anger or frustration? Well, in old age, the art of keeping your peace isn't just about avoiding conflict, it's about finding the wisdom to accept and let go. Today, let's explore how we can avoid anger and not let anyone disturb our tranquility, no matter our age. As we age, one of the most profound challenges we face is the acceptance of change. The world around us constantly shifts, and with each change comes a new set of circumstances we must adapt to. For many, this can be a frustrating and overwhelming experience. Yet, those who find peace in their later years often share one common trait: the ability to accept change. It's easy to think of life as something fixed, something we can control, but as we grow older, we are reminded that change is inevitable, and the more we resist it, the more it holds us captive in a cycle of anger and frustration. Think about it: our bodies change, our loved ones may pass on, society evolves, and technology moves faster than ever. There's no escaping it. But what if, instead of pushing against these shifts, we learn to embrace them? Acceptance doesn't mean you like everything that comes your way, it simply means you acknowledge that change is part of life and choose not to let it control your emotions. As we age, the more we can let go of the desire to control the uncontrollable, the more peace we invite into our lives. This acceptance brings freedom. It frees us from the grip of anger, resentment, and frustration. Imagine waking up every day with a sense of calm instead of immediately feeling overwhelmed by what lies ahead. By accepting the natural course of life, we make space for joy, creativity, and new possibilities. We stop wasting energy on fighting what's beyond our reach, and instead, focus on what we can control: our reactions, our mindset, and our actions. When we stop expecting life to stay the same, we can start to appreciate what each moment brings. Acceptance isn't resignation, it's an invitation to find peace amidst the flux. As we explore the power of perspective, it becomes clear that how we choose to perceive a situation directly shapes our emotional experience. The elderly often possess a unique wisdom and ability to see beyond the surface of events and look deeper into the meaning or potential of what's happening. Imagine two people faced with the same difficult situation. One sees it as an obstacle, a roadblock that prevents them from moving forward, while the other sees it as a challenge, an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow. The difference between the two isn't the situation itself but their perspective on it. Our perspective determines how we respond to life's ups and downs. If we focus only on the negative aspects, it's easy to fall into a pattern of anger or frustration. But when we take a step back and reframe the situation, we can often see it in a new light, one that's filled with possibilities for growth, understanding, and even gratitude. It's about shifting from a mindset of scarcity where we feel like life is happening to us, to one of abundance, where we believe that everything, even the challenging moments, can serve our greater good. Adopting a positive perspective doesn't mean ignoring the difficulties or pretending they don't exist. It means choosing to focus on what can be learned from them, how we can evolve, and what positive outcomes might emerge from these experiences. It's a mindset that transforms adversity into fuel for growth. And as we age, the more we cultivate this perspective, the more we realize that life isn't just about avoiding pain or frustration, it's about embracing it as part of the human experience. With this understanding, we can live more peacefully, letting go of the anger and stress that often arise when we refuse to change how we see the world around us. In these ways, both acceptance and perspective can serve as powerful tools in avoiding anger and cultivating a deeper sense of peace, particularly in old age. They allow us to approach life with the calmness and wisdom that comes from experience, transforming challenges into opportunities for inner growth. As we move through the stages of life, one of the greatest lessons we can learn is the importance of setting healthy boundaries. This isn't just a matter of protecting your space physically, but also emotionally and mentally. As we grow older, we realize that not everyone deserves our time, our energy, or our emotional investment. The people we interact with can either uplift us or drain us, and having clear boundaries helps us determine who gets to be a part of our emotional world. It's essential to recognize that saying no to things that drain us isn't selfish, it's necessary for our mental and emotional well-being. Think about the times in your life when you've allowed others to cross your boundaries, whether intentionally or not. Perhaps someone took advantage of your kindness, or you allowed a negative person to dominate your thoughts and feelings. Over time, this can erode your sense of self and peace. However, when we start to establish clear boundaries, we take control of who and what affects us. We decide how much space someone or something occupies in our lives. Whether it's limiting time with toxic individuals, setting boundaries around how much work or responsibility we take on, or even protecting our emotional energy, boundaries allow us to maintain our peace. They become the invisible force field that shields us from unnecessary stress and frustration. By recognizing that we have the right to protect our emotional space, we begin to let go of the need for approval from others. We stop seeking validation from people who don't have our best interests at heart, and instead, we focus on nurturing relationships that are healthy and supportive. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters that allow only what aligns with our peace and happiness to remain in our lives. And in doing so, we create an environment where we can thrive, not just exist. Another powerful tool in avoiding anger is practicing gratitude. It's easy to focus on what we lack or what's going wrong in our lives, but the act of consciously shifting our focus to what we have can be transformative. As we age, it's natural to reflect on the years that have passed, but we must also train ourselves to appreciate the moments that are right in front of us. A simple shift in perspective where we make the effort to identify the things we are grateful for can lead to profound changes in our emotional state. When we embrace gratitude, we naturally start to let go of negative emotions like resentment, anger, and frustration. Take a moment each day to reflect on something you're grateful for, whether it's the relationships you cherish, the health you still have, or the quiet moments of peace. These small acts of appreciation accumulate over time, reshaping your mindset from one of lack to one of abundance. When we practice gratitude, we begin to see the richness in our lives. It's not about ignoring the challenges or hardships we face, but rather, acknowledging that even in difficulty, there is always something to appreciate. Gratitude helps us cultivate a sense of peace because it shifts our focus away from what's bothering us to what's already good in our lives. Consider the difference it makes when you wake up in the morning with a sense of gratitude instead of frustration. Instead of dreading the day ahead, you greet it with appreciation for the opportunities it may bring. Gratitude doesn't just change how we feel in the moment, it changes how we experience life. When we become more aware of the good in our lives, we start to feel more content, more at peace, and less susceptible to anger or irritation. It's as though gratitude acts as a filter, allowing only the positive to color our world. By setting boundaries and practicing gratitude, we create a foundation of emotional strength and resilience. These two tools not only help us avoid anger but also enable us to cultivate a more peaceful and fulfilling life, one where we focus on what truly matters and let go of what doesn't. As we age, these practices can help us maintain our inner peace amidst the noise and challenges of the world around us. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the constant demands on our time and energy. As we age, it becomes increasingly important to find ways to slow down, recharge, and center ourselves. One of the most effective ways to achieve this is through mindfulness and self-care. These practices allow us to reconnect with our inner selves, fostering a sense of peace that shields us from the outside world's chaos. Mindfulness, in its essence, is the practice of being present in the moment, fully aware of your thoughts, feelings, and surroundings without judgment. It's about cultivating an attitude of acceptance toward whatever arises in our minds, without getting swept away by it. Consider how often we get caught up in the rush of daily life, constantly thinking about what we need to do next or worrying about what's ahead. When we live like this, we lose sight of the present moment, and that's when stress and anger tend to surface. Mindfulness offers a gentle reminder to pause, breathe, and simply be. By engaging in simple practices like deep breathing, meditation, or simply sitting quietly and observing our thoughts, we can create a buffer between ourselves and the external pressures that often cause us frustration. These small acts of mindfulness create a space where we can process emotions in a calm and controlled way, preventing them from escalating into anger. Equally important is self-care, which is not just about pampering ourselves, but about intentionally nurturing our physical, emotional, and mental well-being. As we age, our bodies may not function as they once did, and this can be a source of frustration. But self-care isn't about trying to regain what was lost, it's about honoring where we are now and giving ourselves what we need to feel good in the present. Whether it's taking a walk in nature, reading a book, enjoying a warm cup of tea, or simply resting when we need it, self-care allows us to recharge and maintain a sense of balance. When we prioritize self-care, we send a message to ourselves that we are worthy of attention and love, and that, in itself, can help reduce feelings of irritation or anger. Another way to preserve our peace in old age is by nurturing meaningful relationships. As we age, we often find that the people we surround ourselves with have a significant impact on our emotional well-being. The importance of surrounding ourselves with supportive, positive individuals cannot be overstated. Relationships can either lift us up or weigh us down, and we have the power to choose who we allow into our lives. Meaningful relationships are those where mutual respect, trust, and love flow freely. They provide a foundation of emotional support, offer moments of joy, and create opportunities for growth. When we invest in relationships that nourish us, we create a network of people who help us stay grounded and centered, preventing us from getting caught up in the negativity or drama that may arise from other sources. In contrast, toxic relationships, those that drain us, create conflict, or undermine our peace, can lead to ongoing frustration and anger. Learning to identify these relationships and make the necessary changes to protect our emotional health is an essential skill. It's not always easy, especially when we have deep connections to certain individuals, but by setting boundaries and choosing to spend more time with those who contribute positively to our lives, we create a more peaceful and fulfilling environment. Relationships that are built on genuine love, support, and respect help us feel more secure and less susceptible to the external stresses that can easily trigger anger. By practicing mindfulness, engaging in regular self-care, and cultivating meaningful relationships, we lay the groundwork for a peaceful, joyful existence in our later years. These tools help us avoid the anger and frustration that can easily arise from life's unpredictabilities, allowing us to embrace aging with grace, wisdom, and inner tranquility. As we age, it's not about avoiding challenges, but rather learning how to navigate them with a calm, centered mindset. These practices help us stay grounded, no matter what comes our way, ensuring that we remain in control of our emotional responses and maintain a peaceful outlook on life.